Can Delhi get its electric vehicle policy right and give its citizens some more relief from the terrible air quality that they breathe? That's what we're discussing on Urban Reality today. Mr. Rakesh Batra, the larger question here now is that at a national level, there has been some amount of U-turn. So Delhi will be closely watched. I mean, if they can push through, do you think there'll be pressure on the central government to also then probably push their electric vehicle policy a little bit harder?
Actually, I think this game is changing now. So far the automotive industry has been largely dependent on, central policy. But with the lead that Delhi has taken in coming up with this policy, and with the pollution and congestion that many other of our larger cities are facing, I firmly believe that this will play out, city by city and state by state. Those states and cities that are more advanced will follow the path of Delhi, irrespective of whether there is a central policy or not. Yes, FAME is being leveraged by Delhi as well. But besides that, I think to provide their citizens a better quality of life and a better environment, they will push ahead irrespective of central policy, number one. Number two, I think just a suggestion again to Delhi, we have a very broad objective of 25% electrification by 2023. I think this needs to be deconstructed and have different targets by segment. So private four-wheelers will never get to 25% by 2023. It's a much higher ticket item in terms of value. But potentially in buses, like we said, 50% should be electric. Why only 25%? So I think it might help if we also deconstruct this overall target into a target by segment.
What about four-wheelers, Mr. Jasmine Shah? I mean, what is the plan to get private vehicles? This is a city where private vehicles are the highest across India or any large city in India. What does the policy propose on that front, sir?
So that's a good question, and if you see the contours of our policy, we have actually not made the four-wheelers as the focus of our policy, and there's a very good and rational reason for that. From the pollution perspective, which is the driving force, if you see the main objective is to actually have a discernible impact on pollution. It's not your four-wheeler cars that are polluting the most in Delhi today.
Okay.
First and foremost, it's the truck, and after that, you have two-wheelers and three-wheelers that together account for close to 12% of all the particulate emissions that you see.
All right.
Now, the cars account only for around 3.5% of the particulate emissions. This is as per a study by Terry. So, with the government and the limited resources and the subsidy bill that will come out of this policy, it was a very conscious decision that let's focus, let's get, put our money into segments where there'll be bang for the buck. And especially when you look at the sheer numbers of two-wheelers, it's anywhere between 50 to 60 lakhs.
But sir, sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, you could have at least made some plan with respect to four-wheelers which are used for business. I mean, your Olas and your Ubers and your taxis.
So I was just about to come to that, that however, knowing that at the end of the day, the total kilometers that the cars and the taxis are flying, we have made a provision that, all your registration taxes and duties for the first time will be completely waived off, even for that segment.
Okay.
Plus, we have directly put the onus on the consumers, because the moment you will see a saving, if you're booking today a cab and you know that 100 rupees cab ride typically will now cost you 90 rupees, plus there is a congestion fee that we are also putting on the cabs and autos which are on conventional fuel, which is up to 2.5%. So that differential will hopefully play out and will at least cause the commercial segment of four-wheelers to transition into EVs.
All right. Final word from you, Mr. Gill. I mean, honestly, on paper, if the highlights that I went through on this draft policy seem to be very, very well thought out. As a manufacturer, does this motivate you now? If the implementation is fine, does it motivate you to come up with a larger range of two-wheelers, sir, in the EV category?
Certainly, Delhi government needs to be commended and congratulated on this attempt. My only moot point over here is that earlier the policies of center and state policies have been flip-flopping and going sideways more than front. The businesses like ours are mighty worried about anything that is so much dependent on government doles and all. So we would like ourselves to be absolved of it, but there is a time frame of few years where we really need this support. So I believe strongly that if industry and the government works together on working back on a model of putting first 1 million on the road in next 2 years, everything else will take off from there.
Absolutely.
The first 1 million is very difficult and very important.
First 1 million,
so
crack
I
the
believe
code on
that we should all get together on that.
First 1 million, crack the code on that. Dr. Ravindra Kumar, that's the way to go. I mean, look at China. They've done phenomenally well on electric vehicles. They've surpassed even US on that number.
Yeah. What I think, China has done, then of course India is not going to be behind the China. The problem is we have to look into some of the aspect scientifically. First of thing, like if you are going for, let us say, two-wheeler electric vehicle, then we have to see the safety aspect. You can see the road accidents in Delhi.
Before I wrap out, just a very quick list of what e-vehicles do and how they fare better than combustion engine vehicles. They're cheap to run. You don't need to stop at petrol stations. Almost silent running. Starting an electric vehicle is completely a silent process. The wear and tear is less. It's convenient to recharge at home, especially two-wheelers, and they're clean and green. So there's really no reason for Delhi to embrace this draft policy, and once it's implemented, to support the government in its implementation. Jasmine Shah, Sohinder Singhal, Ravindra Kumar and Rakesh Batra, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. And we will follow the progress of the implementation, of course, the final policy, how it comes out, and the implementation very closely, because it's a subject matter which is close to our hearts. Thank you very much for watching Urban Reality today.